Hey everyone, and welcome back to my book channel, Kylie's Book Quirks. Today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite and least favorite enemies to lovers books that I have read. As always, there are important links below for Black Lives Matter, Indigenous peoples, and how to stop Asian hate. Please take the time to look at those. Also, I am now on Readerly, which is a reader-friendly alternative to Goodreads. They are working on sort of taking back the publishing and reading sphere from capitalist stuff and bringing it back to readers like us. I have my down below if you want to get on and add me. Also, the app is in beta mode at the moment, so you can either join the waitlist or I have 3 codes to let you automatically join. If you want those, comment down below and I'll get you one. So, first off, I have a wonderful list of a couple of enemies to lovers books that I have read that I'm going to be sharing with you. First off, we have These Violent Delights by Gong, which is my favorite book of 2021 so far. It is a Romeo and Juliet retelling in 1926 Shanghai between 2 rival gangs, and it's very good. I definitely recommend reading it. Gong has the sequel, These Violent Ends, coming out November 16th, I believe, of this year, so pre-order that too. Overall, that one was definitely a 5 out of 5 stars. It's one of my favorite books, and I really enjoy how Chloe added more of that enemies part that we often don't see in enemies to lovers, because a lot of authors will rush from the enemies to the lovers and then we don't get as much hate and that's the fun part. Next up, I have The Dark Tide, which I just recently read. That one I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was definitely a much more short and, I guess, simple read for me, where I thought it had an interesting plot, but I think that it could have been fleshed out a lot more and it would have been a lot better. So yeah. Next, I also read Bonecryer's Moon, which I believe has a sequel that came out recently that I have yet to read. It is about... There is this girl and she is... I don't remember the plot. Anyways, moving on. I think I gave that one like 4 out of 5 stars. If you want to know the plot, I would go look that up. I apologize, I don't remember. But I mean, it was pretty good and I'm excited to read the sequel. Next, there was also A Court, Thorn, and Roses by SJM, which I regret to inform you that I got to about chapter 30 and then I put it down and I did not finish it. I don't think I will ever pick it up again. Personally, SJM is not my cup of tea. I didn't really enjoy it, but I know that a lot of other people have enjoyed her books, so try it out, I guess. Next, I also read We Must Hunt the Flame by Hafsah Faizal. I apologize if I said that wrong. It is about this girl, I can't remember her name either, I apologize. It's about this girl who has to journey through her country in order to find a magical item that will help save her village, and she has to team up with the prince in order to find this object, but they're sort of at odds and they have to work together, and it's really good, and I really like Hafsah Faizal's writing. Next, I read Sky in the Deep, which I think last time I read it was like 8th grade, but it's set in Viking times, and I think the main character is stuck in the enemy's camp over winter, and she falls in love with one of the boys in the family that she's staying with, and it was really good and I really enjoyed it. And there's a sequel that I still have not read, but I will read that soon and I'll let you know how it goes. Next, there's also The Wrath and the Dawn, which overall I think for me was just a much more enjoyable read. It was one of those books where I tried not to be very critical and just sit down and enjoy it, and I did enjoy it. Next is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. That is sort of a superhero series set in the future between one of the girls from the villain team and the leader of the heroes. And so she infiltrates their team and then they fall in love and then, chaos ensues, which honestly was really fun. Then there's also The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, which follows the main character Jude, who gets stuck in not stuck. She is taken to fairyland and with her sister, and she falls in love with one of the princes, but they're enemies. There was some good content in there. Next, I also read A Deal with the Elf King, which was marketed as enemies to lovers, but it also just didn't hit the mark with the enemies part. It was enjoyable and I liked reading it, but it just didn't completely hit the mark. It's similar to Tricia Levenseller's The Shadows Between Us, where both of them have a good plot and good characters that I enjoyed, but there wasn't much enemies. It's more of just begrudgingly working it together and then falling in love. And the last enemies to lovers book that I read was Darken by Kiersten White, which I just recently posted a review on. The first book was definitely a little more enemies to lovers, but then it focuses more on the main character and her journey, and then, politics and war in the second and third book. So, there's a little bit, it was enjoyable, but, there was other things going on, and the romance was not the main basis of the video, or the book. So anyways, those are my thoughts on some enemies to lovers books that I've read. I will link down the book and the author below if you want to check those out. Anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please remember to check out those links down below, and I'll see you next time.